Emmerdale fans have come up with a new theory that DS Thea Ramsden may have a connection to a returning character. At first, viewers suspected Thea could be Kim Tate, Zoe Tate's daughter, but attention has now turned towards the King family. Since Ramsden has joined forces with Serena Sugden in an apparent attempt to bring down the Tates, some fans wondered whether she might actually be Graham Foster's daughter, or even Jean, as previously suggested. Because Thea appears determined to target the family, particularly Kim Tate, whom she has vowed to finally take down, viewers believe there could be a revenge plan behind her actions. Now speculation has grown that her storyline could be connected to the return of Sadie King. Fans believe Sadie may be planning to take control of Home Farm and could see Kim as an obstacle standing in her way. This has led to the theory that Thea might be Sadie's daughter, or perhaps she has no family connection to Sadie, but is secretly working alongside her. Could Thea and Sadie be joining forces, with Serena also involved, as part of a scheme to take over Home Farm? Sadie has never had a known personal feud with Kim, so viewers are questioning whether the real motive could simply be gaining control of the estate. However, Thea is a detective, so her determination to expose the Tates could instead be connected to crimes from their past. One fan wrote, "Surely this has got to be Sadie King's upcoming return. I could be wrong, but I am sensing something." Another viewer predicted that Thea could be Sadie's daughter, while someone else suggested she might be Sadie and Jimmy's daughter. A further fan commented that Sadie's return could mean Thea and Serena are both connected to her. Another theory suggested that Thea and Sadie may be targeting Kim because they want to claim Home Farm. One viewer questioned whether this could tie into Caleb's own ambitions for the property, potentially creating a major storyline. Returning to the Sadie theory, one fan said the mystery must be something to do with Sadie, because her comeback is expected. Another viewer agreed, suggesting that Thea and Sadie could either be secretly working together or possibly be related. More speculation followed, with one fan suggesting Thea could be connected to Sadie as her daughter or as someone involved with Jamie. Another viewer wondered whether Thea's mysterious actions could be linked directly to Sadie's upcoming arrival. Some viewers, meanwhile, believe Serena could be the one with the connection to Sadie. One fan suggested that Serena may be secretly working with Sadie, which could explain why she has been investigating Home Farm. Another viewer also suspected that Serena might have links to the returning character. With so many theories surrounding Thea, Serena and Sadie, viewers will have to wait and see whether the truth finally comes to light. All is expected to be revealed soon. Emmerdale has revealed Billy Fletcher's decision about leaving the village after discovering who was really responsible for attacking him. Billy finally learned that Kev Barton was behind the assault at the depot, where he was left unconscious and fighting for his life. Kev's drunken admission helped Billy understand that Zoe Tate had nothing to do with the attack. He also realized that Dawn had not been truthful and had blamed Joe because she wanted Billy to support her plans to flee the village. At the beginning of the episode, Billy confronted Kev and demanded to know whether Joe had ordered the attack. Kev attempted to make the incident sound unplanned, claiming Billy had simply become caught up in something unrelated to him. However, he eventually admitted that Caleb and Ruby Milligan were aware of what had happened. Billy later attempted to speak with Dawn at the cafe, but Joe arrived and quickly took her away before they could have a conversation. Billy then headed to the Milligans, although Caleb and Ruby offered little more than weak explanations. Caleb insisted that even if Joe had not been responsible for Billy's attack, he was still a terrible person because of what he had done. Billy angrily branded Caleb a poisonous little snake and warned him and Ruby to leave both him and Dawn out of their ongoing conflict with Joe. After discussing everything with Marlon Dingle at the pub, Billy concluded that the truth needed to come out. He then returned to Home Farm to have another conversation with Dawn. Before Billy could reveal what he had discovered, Dawn made an emotional appeal and told him that if he no longer wanted to go through with their escape plan, she would take the children and leave on her own. Dawn explained that although she and Billy were no longer together, he remained the only person she could depend on. She also reminded him of the important role he played in the children's lives, and encouraged him to help them obtain passports and arrange their journey out of the village. Billy chose to keep quiet about what he knew regarding the attack. Instead, he reassured Dawn that he was completely behind her plans and was ready to help her and the children leave. However, their escape plans have hit another obstacle. In the closing moments, Caleb and Ruby made it clear that they would not hand over the fake passports until they had carried out their revenge against Joe on his wedding day. Billy now faces a difficult choice as he attempts to protect Dawn and the children. Will he manage to get them safely out of the village before Caleb and Ruby's revenge plan puts everything at risk? Emmerdale's Jimmy King faces an emotional time next week as he struggles to process the betrayal by Caleb and Ruby Milligan. Caleb finds himself at the center of the drama in the upcoming episodes as he helps Billy Fletcher take down their shared enemy, Zoe Tate. Meanwhile, Dawn is preparing to escape with Billy and leave Joe at the altar on their wedding day. However, Joe is not the only person Caleb has deceived. His betrayal of Jimmy is finally exposed, forcing him to face the consequences of his actions against his former business partner. Jimmy was previously pushed into selling his share of the haulage company he co-owned with the Milligans after a delivery was deliberately sabotaged. It later emerged that Caleb had arranged the entire scheme so he could take complete control of the business. Once the truth comes out, Jimmy is devastated and feels deeply betrayed. He realizes that Caleb and Ruby were never genuine business partners and had instead been working against him from the beginning. Next week, Jimmy receives another payment in addition to the money he is already due for selling his half of the haulage firm. The extra cash comes from Caleb, who hopes the financial offer will persuade Jimmy to stay quiet about the deception. While Ruby appears relatively unfazed by everything that has happened, Caleb becomes increasingly troubled by his guilt. He attempts to make things right with Jimmy and repair some of the damage caused by his scheme. But the betrayal has clearly affected Jimmy beyond his finances. When he opens up to Bob about being manipulated, Jimmy admits that the experience has made him reconsider his entire life and question where things are heading. Worried about his friend, Bob tries his hardest to lift Jimmy's spirits. However, he soon senses that Jimmy's sadness could be linked to something much more serious, and believes there may be another issue weighing heavily on him. Could Jimmy be keeping another major secret from those around him, and will the truth finally emerge during the dramatic events of the week? Earlier this year, reports claimed that Jimmy could be killed off, with his longtime portrayer, Nick Miles, reportedly preparing to leave the soap after more than 2 decades. With Joe and Dawn's wedding day descending into chaos, and the villagers learning about a shocking incident, viewers may be left wondering whether Jimmy could somehow become caught up in the unfolding drama. Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available to stream from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.